Hi, everyone. My name is George Grama. I'm the founder of Autonomy. We're aiming to build a blockchain cloud for autonomous vehicles. Yeah. So this is you've probably seen this in the press before. These are autonomous vehicles that Google had on the streets a few years ago. And these are the ones that they have right now. As of May of last year, they've ordered over 85,000 of these vehicles from Chrysler to put them on the roads. So they've done a lot of testing. They've got tens of millions of miles covered in self-driving vehicles. They're at the forefront of the technology, and they're preparing to have these on the roads anytime soon. And this is a very short video from NVIDIA, which shows you how these cars see their environment and how they classify images and objects on the street. Anything from lane detection to pedestrian and traffic lights and stop signs and anything else, they can recognize this. Obviously, the technology is still in testing, but it's going very quickly, and pretty much all the car manufacturers have pilots that are coming out, and before 2021, they think they're going to have the cars commercially available. I'm going to skip this in the interest of time. So this is our car, which you can see on the conference on the expo floor. We bought one and we equipped it with self-driving technology that was available to us. We wrote some software for it, and we tried to hook it up to a test net, and here are the results. So what we're basically trying to build is a cloud network that's like a secure internet for these cars to exchange information from one vehicle to another, and from the vehicle to your smartphone and to the smart city grid. So we see a lot of automakers coming out with this technology, but everyone's focusing on the actual technology for decision-making in the cars. So they're building the software that avoids pedestrians, reads the right traffic signs, but no one's really building the cloud network that will allow these cars to exchange information from one another. And you might wonder what that kind of information might be. We're thinking these cars can learn from other cars' mistakes. We think they can share information about traffic, about accidents on the road, and ultimately, they're going to be able to communicate with the apps on your phone. So all you can see, and unfortunately, the quality of the video is not the best, but you can see the hands of we have to have a safety driver in there, but you can see his hands out. And the car, at the moment, we're only testing it in a private car park, but it's already hooked up to our blockchain testnet and to our mobile apps. So this is the future that we're envisioning. There are going to be over 100 million self-driving cars on the roads by 2030, and there are over 1 billion of cars on the road today. We think there's a massive potential, trillions of dollars in the transportation industry, and we're trying to build the layer that sits on top of these cars. So we're not actually making the software for the decision-making in the car, but we want to be the secure internet that connects them all. But there's a problem with that. As I was saying earlier, today's self-driving cars are like the 1970s PCs. So they're not connected, they're not learning from each other, they're not exchanging any kind of information. And that's mainly because every car manufacturer is focused on developing their own software that they think is going to be the winner in that space. So they're building walled gardens, they're trying to patent everything in the space, and that could lead to slow adoption in the future, and also like a control. So they could control, if you get a car from BMW, you won't be able to exchange, that car won't be able to exchange data with a Honda or a Toyota car. And we think that's not right. So the solution, and you might wonder why we went with blockchain, the blockchain component of our system is mainly for security. So we want to make sure whoever has control of that car, and you have to imagine these cars are going to be completely remotely controlled. So you're going to request the car, it's going to come wherever you are, it's going to pick you up, drop you off at the office, and then it's going to go and park itself. It's going to pay for parking on its own, it's going to go to do its routine maintenance on its own, and it's going to learn from other vehicles as well. So the blockchain component in our project is mainly for the security. We want to make sure that you, as the owner of the car, are identified as such. So we give you an address on our blockchain that identifies you as the owner of the car. But also, it gives you control of the car when the car is available to you. But let's say you go to the office and for the next 8 hours, you're not going to use the car. You can put it on the Autonomy cloud, and Uber can tap into the cloud and say, hey, I need your car to do a few trips around the city. From that point on, you don't have control over that car anymore. Uber does, and ultimately the passenger in the car. So we've got a tiered layer of control of how these cars move and where they go, and it's always through the blockchain. Okay. We've got a few tiers of development. Firstly, we're focusing on transportation applications, so something like rideshare and package delivery. We already have these apps. Our background has been in transportation, and I'll go a little bit over that. But also data is going to be very important. Who controls that data? Who has access to it? If you get into a car that has just the Google applications and the Google software on it, Google's going to own all of that data. We're opposing that, and we think your data belongs to you, and you should be in control of it. Okay. So we're also trying to work with smart city initiatives. Think of how much data can be collected from these cars if you agree to it and if it's anonymized, and how the city could better plan the building of roads around it and traffic management. We could have new lanes opening up on the other side of the road when the rush hour traffic hits in one direction. We're also trying to work with city councils about emergency vehicles. So right now, with the software that's available, a police car, if it has 5 self-driving cars in front of it, it won't be able to signal, and they won't be able to get out of the way, right? So the police car can't get through, basically. So we're thinking of identifying these police cars on the blockchain and giving them permission to actually transmit to the other self-driving cars to get out of the way. And it could be police, it could be fire trucks, it could be ambulances, it could be anything like that. So this is a scenario where we see autonomy in action. At the moment, you drive to work every day, and you park your car, and you leave work at 6 p.m., and the car just stays there for 90% of the time. But with self-driving cars, we think that you're going to be able to make it available to others to use. It will be able to go and park itself and do its annual servicing. And it can even go and pick up your dinner from a restaurant and pick you up and take you home on the way back. These are the APIs that we're developing and targeting. So you see the autonomy chain sits right in the middle of it. There's a lot of industries that, unfortunately, I don't have time to go through. And here's our team. So SoftBit has been a company registered in California. We've been doing transportation and dispatching solutions for the transportation industry for over 7 years now. We've got over, actually, 120 million orders processed through our platform. We're licensing our software pretty much around the world. And this is kind of the next step of our project. So we bought a self-driving car. We signed it up to our blockchain and to our mobile applications. We're working with NVIDIA for that, and we're seeking partnerships with car manufacturers. But how do we make money? So we're going to charge commissions for pretty much every transaction that goes through our blockchain. We're going to monetize the data. And obviously, there's a utility token called Autonomy. We're also trying to build an app store where other developers can come around and say, look, I've built this great parking application where it maps out all the parking spaces in LA with their prices. Tap into my application to go and to have your car park itself 20 blocks away. And here's our roadmap. So we're buying another vehicle, and we're targeting the self-driving delivery service in LA. We're hopefully going to launch it at CES this year, and it's going to be hooked up to the blockchain, and hopefully that's going to lead to partnerships with delivery companies. But pretty much 2019 is going to be the year where we're coming out with SDKs and APIs for any transportation company, and hopefully we're establishing partnerships by then with all the major car manufacturers. Right now, we wanted to get a self-driving vehicle to understand how they work and how we can enable that communication between two vehicles, and we've done that. If you want any more information, please come around to our booth on the concourse hall, and I'll be happy to answer any questions then. Okay, thank you very much.